Hello everyone, and today I thought I'd share a little blast from the past and look at some old art, specifically my art portfolio from back in middle school. Now this thing is pretty old. I probably did most of the work in here in like 2008, 2009, and I brought this thing with me everywhere in middle school. Like I brought this to class every day. I've shown a few pieces from it before, and I've redone a few here on this channel, but I've never shared it in its entirety. So let's go through it together, and I'll drop a little lore along the way so you can see what inspired me as a young artist. And honestly, probably what still inspires me to this day a little bit. So let's take a look. So here she is. The front, I think I usually had like some different printed inspiration photos. And if I'm honest, I don't remember what they were. This is the only surviving one, and I'm not sure what it's from. Probably something I found on Google Images and really liked the art style. It's probably from like a shoujo manga or something. No clue, but it's what's on the front of here. So before we jump into everything else here, I want to start with what's in this pocket. Start with something honestly a bit older than I thought I had in here. This says it's from 2008, 2009, but I honestly think it could have been 2007. I'm not entirely sure because I think I might have made this in the 6th grade. I believe I used the fanciest printer paper I could find, some Crayola colored pencils, and probably some kind of just regular 2B graphite pencil. Probably an OC of some kind. No idea what this character's name was. Okay, now it's definitely not a middle school art experience if there's no cat girls. This time though, we actually have some alcohol marker. I believe ones that I got from my mom back from her scrapbooking days or her art school days. She wasn't using them, and they're the closest thing I could get to Copics at the time, which if you were around the art world in the late 2000s, you will know that Copic markers were what everyone wanted. They were like the art supply. Honestly, this isn't too bad. I have a feeling this was probably greatly inspired by Tokyo Mew Mew, an old magical girl series. Let's continue on here. We've got a classic kind of fire and ice thing going here, red and blue. And just let's take a look at the anatomy here. I don't really know what's going on with the anatomy here. The knees are really stiff and the shins feel really long, but you know what? For 7th grade, not too bad. Got another marker drawing here. I definitely drew this character more than once. Anyone with like the short red hair, again, I didn't name them. I just would draw the same characters over and over. Oh man, this is something. I don't think I even liked how this turned out back in the day, but this fashion is just really something. Oh, here's the red-haired girl again. I think this might have been one of the first times I drew her. You can see there's some similarities. This might have been an attempt to redraw it. Not entirely sure, but they look very similar. Probably the same character. Ooh, now we've got the actual Tokyo Mew Mew inspiration. I wasn't good enough with Ichigo from the actual series, so I had to kind of redesign her, I guess. Strawberry kitten. Honestly, this is actually kind of cute. I like that rather than go with like a pink strawberry, I went like very green and red. If you didn't know this was strawberry themed, you'd probably think she's a Christmas elf. Maybe I'll have to try redoing this one sometime. Design some old magical girls that I did back in the day. Okay, now this one. was one of my favorites from back in the day. I was very proud when I made this. I loved the color combination, her kind of gothic outfit, with like the teal green hair. You will see that I probably drew this one again. We'll see that in a little bit. Got a schoolgirl. You'll notice that a lot of these are like, they're all gonna be girls, is one thing. And a lot of them are not gonna have hands. A lot of us avoided hands back in the day, and honestly still do. It's kind of why I was surprised this one actually had hands. Same with this one, although I think her wrist might be broken. But we have our hands hiding behind our back. Ooh, and we have a bonus. Got a little picture on the back too. Okay, I think I might have redrawn this one. This is another character that shows up a lot. A girl with kind of like short, teal blue, Miku colored hair. Again, fashion inspiration was definitely whatever anime I was watching at the time. Oh man, another one of these. I don't really have a lot of words, but I did want to share what one of my inspirations at the time might have been. So back in the day, Vampire Night was all the rage. My husband actually found this yesterday and got it for me, even though I infamously have a lot of disdain for this series now. I loved the art style at the time, and I loved the anime at the time. Before a few reveals, if you're familiar with the series, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I was really inspired by the artwork, and so I kind of tried to imitate it. I also have a feeling this character is supposed to be a vampire. But yeah, Vampire Night was a pretty big influence artistically. In fact, probably a lot of the stuff here is inspired by a lot of the artwork from the manga. Here, I've got a few OCs. It's not colored. It's actually not too bad. Again, very stiff, but not terrible. Ooh, oh no. So, back in the day, I keep saying that, I think a few friends and I, and this was definitely 6th grade, made Naruto OCs. I actually wasn't super into Naruto, but my friends were, and so I made one too. I don't completely remember which one is mine. I think Cloud is, although I did make a note, 14-year-old me, or no, not 14-year-old, 2014 me, so like 16 or 17-year-old me, was reacting to the fact that I spelled the name Cloud wrong. I spelled it C-L-O-A-D. Someone's character I couldn't fit is there. Yeah, this is really something. Back in the day when you would roleplay your original characters on the playground. Man, I miss those days. A much simpler time. This is unfinished. I'm a little worried about her. That's all I'm gonna say. Oh, we actually have a boy and a girl, and I never drew the hands. Go figure. I think I wanted to figure out how to make them holding hands and then gave up. Probably because I didn't want to ruin the rest of the drawing because I liked it. The other thing that's fun, I've just noticed, and actually a lot of these, only one eye. They have like matching bangs. Okay, we're almost done with this pocket here. Oh my goodness. I have a funny story about this one. I think, oh gosh, let me see if I can get the camera to focus. I think this was supposed to be my mom. I think I drew this as like an anime version of my mother. My mother looks nothing like this, but I did try, and I do think she thought it was cute. let's continue on. Okay, this is absolutely inspired by Vampire Night. I can tell from the eyes and the weird, massive, complicated choker thing. I want to say this one was probably 2009. Okay, it's time to get into the actual meat and potatoes of it all. These laminated pages. This is probably a lot of artwork that I didn't really complete or didn't like as much. This is where I put my most treasured pieces that I was proud of, which is why they're in these little plastic binder protector pages. And this one, I have an actual date for. August 24th, 2009. This is definitely much better than some of the ones we just looked at. This is absolutely inspired by Tokyo Mew Mew. This is probably supposed to be a magical girl of some kind. And honestly, I really like the pink and red. I think it's very cute. Oh man, more Tokyo Mew Mew inspired artwork. Maybe these are supposed to be the same girl. Maybe this is before and after transformation. Not entirely sure. But I think she's also cherry themed and like a fox girl. Okay, next here we have something that was probably inspired by Avatar: The Last Airbender. I think she's supposed to be a waterbender, some kind. I think that's kind of where the outfit inspiration came from. However, I'm gonna give you a closer look at this. Something is up with these fingers. It looks like she has 6 because the thumb is missing, or at least it does not look like a thumb. So her hand definitely looks very awkward. I do want to say I redid this one at some point. We shall see. Goodness, more Tokyo Mew Mew inspired artwork. I think she's supposed to be orange themed. You know, the leaf wings are kind of fun. I really wish I had names for these characters. Probably your name was like Tangerine or something like that. And a lot of these little ponytails too. Not really sure why I did so many of those. I've got another scene girl. I do actually really like the yellow and black plaid. I can't tell if she's supposed to be sitting or standing though. Again, so far all we've seen are OCs, original characters, either from anime that I watched or people I just made up. And again, I didn't really give them names. I think I actually redid this piece on this channel. I could be wrong, but I definitely have redone a few pieces of this character. We saw her earlier actually. Again, she's got that blue hair, although I think I decided that her color themes were blue, black, and red. I think these are supposed to be boots, some weird fun gloves. Honestly, this one's a classic. I really liked her too. Her little pigtails are really cute. The anatomy is also not as bad as the others. And you can tell I really tried with these ruffles. I really struggled with ruffles and clothing, like folds and stuff, but I feel like I was really trying here. Oh, we're getting to the dramatic ones. Okay, this one I definitely redid for this channel. I'll show a little peep of it here. All I can say is I just am astounded by how long her calves are. They're like as long as the rest of her body. So stiff too. So we're getting into a bit more melodrama now. You have this girl holding a rose, I think, off a cliff. I always had a hard time with some of these bigger pieces because there was so much white space and I just did not have the art supplies needed to really fill up that space. So a lot of it kind of feels empty, sort of like this. Oh, is this an actual named OC? I think this might have been the Naruto OC from earlier. I could be wrong. Or she's an elf girl. I'm not entirely sure. But I felt the need to give her a name, so maybe she's important. Kind of similar to some previous ones. Oh. Okay, now this one. This one was one of my favorites at the time. I really liked the drawing. I even did a little bit of background work here. There's actually a hand that looks like a hand. I don't think I ever colored it though because I was afraid of ruining it. Same case for this other one here. I didn't color her because I was afraid I would mess it up. But this is actually a redraw of an earlier piece. You know what? Actually a bit of improvement. At least as far as like the sketch goes. Still pretty similar, but I want to say these are about a year apart. Apologize if sliding this back and forth is a little too much. Here we actually have a man and a woman, or a boy and a girl. Again, didn't draw a lot of men, so this is pretty rare. And here, I believe, is actually another redraw. I always enjoyed recreating characters. I think this was actually the first one I showed. We've got our 6th grade. And then I believe this might have even been 8th grade. This is probably a year or two later, and honestly, again, quite an improvement. This is something I always enjoyed doing. I kind of think it always helped me feel a little bit better about how my artwork looked, was comparing it to previous artwork. It also looks like I was using marker here and not colored pencil. And we also lost the leggings and switched them for some knee highs. OMG, we've got Cyborg Lady. Ooh, this one was also from 2009. I want to say that this was actually me trying to cleverly cover up a mistake. I want to say I accidentally put a mark somewhere or messed up an eye or something, and decided that the way to fix it was to make her half robot. Or something. Still pretty fun. The more I think of it, I also feel like I drew this girl a lot, with these really interesting poses. Oh, we've definitely got another Vampire Knight reference here. This was absolutely me trying to copy the style. Not very accurately. I think I was definitely trying to take the eyes and the sadness. Still pretty fun though. I think I could probably redo this one pretty easily. Then we've got a depressed little emo girl here. Don't know where her hands are, or her arms really. I think she's supposed to be sitting down. This just looks really uncomfortable. I'm not really sure what angle this is supposed to be at. And now we have a real masterpiece here. I do remember being really proud of this one, and I also didn't color it because I was afraid of ruining it. But we've got broken glass going through a window. I think she might be crying. There's wind blowing. There's actually some okay fabric texture for me at the time. This is also definitely Vampire Knight coded. There's no way it was not. Okay, and we have one from 2008. It's not quite finished, but honestly, I've always kind of loved this one. I want to finish it sometime, or not finish this particular one, but maybe take the concept and play with it a little bit. Maybe show stars reflecting in the pools of, I think, water. Maybe actually do a full illustration of this. Let me know if you'd like to see that, because this is something I never quite finished when I was younger and always wanted to, but just didn't know how to go about it. So I'd really like to revisit this one sometime. Got some more plain pencil drawings. A lot of these are not colored actually at this point. I wonder if we're getting kind of towards the end where I was enjoying what I was drawing, but not necessarily feeling confident enough to color it. Again, with these giant side ponytails. I do remember really liking this one too. Really liked the emotion she was showing. You know, we all cry with one eye closed. Also got one in landscape mode. Ooh. Also, these fashion designs, like I think these are supposed to be ruffles. And then like this really interesting seam line. I have no idea how this would work with actual real fabric. Ooh, this one's all the way in 2010. You can actually see a bit of improvement with the anatomy. It's a little bit less stiff than the others. And we have two eyes. And they look relatively similar, so that's actually not too bad. Okay, now this one has to be 8th grade because it is much better than the ones we've been looking at that were probably, I want to say, late 6th and through 7th grade. This is actually fan art, I think, of a character from Katsukyo Hitman Reborn. I will show a photo of her if I am able to find one. Drew a lot of like emotional, scared looking girls. Very melodramatic. It's kind of funny how melodramatic they were because I wasn't really a melodramatic kid. I feel like I enjoyed like reading and watching things with a little melodrama, but wasn't really interested in actually having any in real life. Oh gosh. This is a time where the Too Much Jean came in. I remember really liking it, then I added stuff and started hating it, and then eventually the metallic pen came in. It's a little sad. Getting close to the end, we've got some more with some actual color. Little collage here of some different pieces. I actually still kind of like this one, it's pretty fun. Oh, we actually have a sad boy instead of a sad girl here. And then this girl, man. It's not too bad, but oh, these eyes. And yet again, we got one of these massive side ponytails, a weird little curly Q, and eyes that look a little too close together, and a chin that could probably kill. Honestly, it's so pointy. Even compared to some of the other chins, it's pretty pointy. Oh, and then we have the last one. Another one that I remember really liking, but never colored. Now to finish up, we have a last little pocket here. We have this fun blue-haired girl again. I guess I really liked incorporating X's with her. And I do enjoy that I had the same kind of color scheme of the red and blue, but different outfit this time. Got another colored one here. And finally, an actual piece of fan art of real characters that I didn't make myself. These are characters from Shugo Chara. I believe it's Amu and Ikuto. And I just want to point out that this says ice cream. Oh, sorry, chocolate ice cream, but it's from Walmart, which I find particularly funny that I added that detail. I actually owned a few volumes of this manga back in the day. It's not the worst fan art ever, honestly. Some more work that I probably did in the classroom. If it's on lined paper, I probably drew it in class. Another no hand baddie here. Although you can see the whispers of them. You can tell I tried and gave up and decided I'll come back to this later. Some more kind of unfinished pieces. We're starting to see more from 2010, which I guess I didn't seem to color as much then. Also something half finished. I want to say this is probably from 2010 too, which would mean I was in the 8th grade. Same with this one. These are actually not too bad. These are actually pretty fun. You can see a lot of improvement from like 2008 to 2010. Like her little arm cuff. The coloring could use some work, but I honestly didn't have the best materials to work with. I will say, very, very proud of my younger self for this hand. Look at that. That actually looks like a hand. I probably spent hours on that thing. Which you can tell there's a huge difference between this one from 7th grade 2009 to like this from 2010. It's really interesting seeing how fast improvement went back in the day. I feel like it's always more noticeable in hindsight than it is at the actual moment, which is one reason why I do this. Oh, here's another piece of fan art. Can't really tell, but I believe this is supposed to be Chrome from Katekyo Hitman Reborn. I'll include a picture of her if I can find one. She was my favorite character at the time. She's got a little eye patch. And you can't really see, but she's got this little spiky hair thing. More sad crying girls. You'd think something was going on in my life to cause this, but there really wasn't. I think I just liked drawing sad girls. Oh, another piece of fan art of Crom. This must have been 2010. I was really into Katekyo Hitman Reborn at the time. And this particular character. It's honestly a really fun anime. I never finished it. It had kind of too many episodes, so I kind of gave up at one point. But I did have a lot of fun with it. Got an actual boy character again. Oh, we're back to the extremely long calves. This looks kind of uncomfortable, if I'm honest. My mom used to make comments about how some of the positions I put my characters in didn't look very comfortable. And I just told her that was the way it was, but honestly, she had a really good point. Maybe she's doing yoga. Maybe that's what's happening here. Oh gosh, look at those claws. Those claws. The rest of it's actually really fun. I kind of like the flow. It's actually not too bad. As far as the posing actually goes, it really isn't terrible. Other than those claws. Claws are pretty bad. Oh, this one's actually really adorable. It's a little girl waking up. This one actually is fun. The position makes sense. The expression is perfect. Maybe I'll need to redo something like that someday. Oh, we got one from 2011, 2012. So a little more lore is that I used to make AMVs at this time. If I wasn't drawing, I was making AMVs. And I had a few online friends who actually all happened to be girls of the same age, which I was very lucky. I probably dabbled in ways that were not the safest. But these girls, I know for a fact, were actually my age. And I drew a little picture of all of us, even though we never ever met in person. Okay, and I think we've got another little piece of fan art here. And that is it for this particular binder. What a trip. And that is it for this particular binder. However, I've got a lot of other sketchbooks and pieces from years past. If you'd like to see things from the high school years or even college when I kind of started getting back into art again, please let me know, and I hope you enjoyed this little look into the past. See y'all next time.